Richard, one of the things about having the mining infrastructure that TAAL has as a company is this ability to use your supercomputers to mine any of the Bitcoin protocol coins. Can you walk us through a bit of that process? And to me, I just found this out, that a Bitcoin, if you're buying Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, as a miner, you're able to take advantage of what's happening on the networks to maximize your revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Bitcoin Core, BCH and BSV are ultimately all proof of work SHA-256 blockchains. We've engineered within TAAL something called TAAL Orchestrator, and TAAL Orchestrator is our node and network management layer that allows us to economically switch across those three protocols. That's actually working in a really elegant way. So that TAAL Orchestrator actually runs a listening mode, if you like. It keeps a track of last block mined on all of those chains. It looks at the difficulty rate, it looks at the total hashing power, and it looks at the price of the coin. And so within that orchestrator, we've got effectively a fast economic switcher that allows us to switch across the chains within 30 seconds. And so why are we interested in that? Well, I think what a lot of the industry hasn't perhaps realized is that across those three chains, if you normalize economics and look at it through the lens of petahash hours, we've certainly seen over the last 12 months that across those three chains, presently the yield is $20,000 per 100 petahash, irrelevant of which one you're mining on. We economically mine across those three chains for treasury and long-term transaction strategy. But yeah, I think when you look now at BTC Core, the algorithm for the difficulty rate has a big influence on yield. And so whilst most investors will always default to, the unit price is much higher, therefore it's more profitable, that's not the case. They're very normalized at around 20,000 per 100 petahash. So you can scale that up.
And that's very eye-opening and revealing when you see it right in front of you as you explain it. And I think as more miners, more transaction processors come to that realization, there should be more activity on the BSV blockchain.
Definitely, yeah. And I think if you look at what's on chain and as a block explorer and look at the miners that are there now, we've seen greater participation on the BSV chain over the last 12 months. Mm-hmm. And so that's really delightful to see. Mm-hmm. I think I'm very keen, really, Adrian, that there's something in the order of 5.4 billion of new capital coming into BTC Core hashing this year. So huge expansion in fleets. Mm-hmm. We all know the format that these blockchains run, meaning if you're an ASIC miner and you're mining the Bitcoin, then we've got the next halving event somewhere between March and May 2024. And we're on that diminishing curve of moving away from subsidy income towards transaction fees. That's a lot of hash power that is on BTC that in the years ahead will not ultimately be getting the yield from subsidy. And as we know, BTC doesn't scale to support transaction flow.
And TAAL is encouraging more mining activity from, I guess, companies that could be competitors onto the BSV network, because more activity rises everyone, right?
More activity, it rises everyone, but of course, obviously, this is not a crypto strategy for BSV. This is a networking and protocol strategy. Yes, the coin is critically important. It's a factor in that economic model, but at the end of the day, we're really focused on the long term, which means we want to see a large mining competition on the network, because the competition makes the consensus better. Our expectation is we're looking at a network here that is already scaled and supporting hundreds of millions of transactions. It will be billions, and it will go on to be trillions per day. So when we think about the volume of data that is coming from Internet of Things devices, edge connected devices, smart cities, autonomous vehicles, the transaction processing capability needs to be underpinned with a resilient, mature set of mining companies participating and competing to support that transaction economy.